Welcome to Michelle's Opinions. Today we're going to talk about shills, trolls, NPCs, and why we should not let them bother us. First, let's start out by looking into the definitions of what a shill is, what a troll is, and what an NPC is. The definition of a shill, the noun, it's a compliance or a hawker, a gambler, a swindler who acts as an enthusiastic customer to entice or encourage others. The verb is to act or work as a shill. Off to the side, under shill, it says, a shill, also called a plant or a stooge, a person who publicly helps or gives credibility to a person or organization without disclosing that they have a close relationship with the person or organization. Shills can carry out their own operations in the areas of media, journalism, marketing, politics, confidence games, or other business areas. A shill may also act to discredit opponents or critics of a person or organization in which they have a vested interest through character assassination or other means. Now, this is to the extreme form, and I hope to goodness that people that are watching my channel and my posts are not harassing other YouTubers or anything, but we really don't have much problem with that here. But I think that, under that terminology, with it being so broad, that just about anybody could be a shill if you have your favorite YouTuber and you're, sharing their information and things like that. A shill to me would be more like a plant that is in there to sow disharmony, but we'll get into that later. Right now, I just want to stick with definitions. Sorry for the bird walk, guys. Now let's look into the definition of trolling. I typed in online trolling definition, and it says, trolling is the practice of starting arguments or upsetting people by posting inflammatory or off-topic messages in an online community with the deliberate intent of provoking an emotional response or disrupting an on-topic discussion. Off to the side, Internet Trolls says, in internet slang, a troll is a person who starts quarrels or upsets people on the internet to distract or sow discord by posting inflammatory and digressive, extraneous, or off-topic messages in an online community with the intention of ... But that's as far as we're going to get into that. And last but not least is NPC. As you see here, I have typed in NPC definition. It is a noun. It's a gaming term, short for non-player character. Characters can sell things to NPCs to get money. Synonyms are walk-on, supernumerary, meaning like background people, spear carrier, walk-on part, minor role, non-speaking role, bit part, non-player character, NPC, red shirt. Not quite understanding what the red shirt part is, but hey, it's basically it's a gaming term for non-player character, like background people. Now, the reason I'm making this is I want everybody to think this is a public platform, and a lot of times new people will come in and they won't quite understand what the format is and what the channel is all about. So we need to be patient with them. And I did see a few things in the chat stream that, I think we should all come together in oneness. And, my feelings are that no matter what is going on, within each other's lives, there's so much more that we have in common. And that if we could set aside our differences, my gosh, we would be absolutely limitless. So some of the things that have come up, the word shill has come up a few times. So I was interested in what really is a shill. And the people, it kind of is shocking, the people that are actually called shills. It's like if you're good with promoting yourself, or you become popular and people like what you're saying, you kind of get slotted into that character. Now, I think there is validity to there being actual plants, actual shills put into communities to throw things off track. Yeah, I do believe that. But I don't think that under every rock I'm going to find a shill. I always try to find the best in everybody, because everybody is trying to tell the truth to the best that they know how. As we've talked about here, the somatic, the psychic, and the pneumatic terms, we know, by what they say, where they're at. And it's okay, because there's no right or wrong way. It's just a matter of awareness. And as we've been progressing along and getting deeper into things, I'm touching on some topics that, seem to be dysfunctional, because they will fight with one another just to prove one right and one wrong. And it's getting really ugly. So, we always can't play in the beautiful end of the pool. Sometimes we have to go into the muck, the miry muck, to try to, put the light on those areas too. So that way, maybe sometimes it doesn't matter if it's even just one person is able to then look into themselves and say, wait a minute, I'm doing that. Why am I doing that? And see the silliness of it. And realize that there's so much more going on, and there's more that we can get accomplished together than ever by fighting with each other over trivial things that we could do nothing about. And the topic that I used, and it was actually in a parable term, meaning that I wasn't going on one or the other, or lifting one up and putting one down, or I was just using it as a parable. And I got comments that, I posted the video, and 2 minutes later on a 18-minute video, I already had some very odd comments. So I know that they didn't watch the presentation, so they didn't, how could they understand what it was about? So, there's those kind of things going on. So, I'm not quite sure where their mind is at, but we all go through a phase of deprogramming and then understanding what this place really is, unplugging, so to speak. Like I said, I've stopped watching the television for over a year. No internet, no television, no nothing, to clear my mind, to be able to critically think and make my own mind up and make determinations. But in that, we also have to have value systems. What is the most important? What is the most relevant? What is going to be the best thing to do at this now moment to help mankind? So now let's get into trolls. Trolls come in to just sow disharmony. Now, a lot of you have been with me for a while, so, I don't need defending or, just let the comments flow. I know I shut off comments for a very long time because I have my family watches my posts, and some of the comments that were coming through weren't just a difference of opinion. They were of a different nature. So instead of having my phone blow up and have my family go into crisis mode so that I can continue on doing this with everybody, it was just better to, stop allowing comments or approving all comments, so that way, my family didn't have to see that or get worried about things like that. Now, as for NPCs, that's a term that's been thrown around quite a bit, and that would tie into the video that I did on the somatic. When people are well engulfed into the material world, they work, they do their 9 to 5, they're exhausted, they come home, they turn on the game, they crack open a beer, they just want to relax. Women just want to come home from work, pour a glass of wine, just have a moment to themselves to decompress from the hard day work. It's a hamster wheel that we're running on. So it makes it really hard to come out of that somatic phase because we're kept so busy with the monotonous things and the mundane things that it doesn't give us time to sit there and introspect and discover and remember who and what we are and how wonderful each and every one of us are. That would include shills, trolls, and NPCs. Now, I did post a video that the possibility of a non-player character in the Earth game could be like on Jupiter Ascending. They had the aliens that were here to maintain the game, as we are the players and we're going through the phases and we level up, and just like a game. So an NPC would be somebody that is not supposed to be interactive in the game. They just play their part of maintaining the game to keep the game going. But I never thought that label would be put upon another human being. So that's just something that in my heart, I think, is it possible? Well, I don't know. I mean, I never professed to know everything, but what I do know and what I experience, I do like to share with you guys. So, when it comes to, as I've opened up comments, and I am touching on some very divided topics in hopes to, even if one or two will look to themselves, because I can tell you one thing that is for sure, is I can't change anybody. I can only change myself. But by listening, sometimes it will trigger something within us that makes us think and then say, why did I respond the way that I did? Why did I make a comment before I even understood what the content that was being presented? What triggered me? Why did I get so upset and defensive? So there's something going on in that flat earth, globe earth, hemisphere or spectrum that is getting out of control. They've almost become a religion in itself. And that's where we run into problems. We start thinking things that we have to have a hive mind and be like cult-like in our beliefs. It's the divide and conquer, when the last thing that we want is to be divided. We want to be united. And I don't mean, I don't mean that everybody should think the same, talk the same, walk the same, wear the same clothes. I'm not like that at all. I'm saying we're all so unique and individual, but we have far more in common than will ever separate us. So if some people come through and make comments, guys, don't worry about it. Let them make their comment. They can, I'll respond to them. You can respond to them, but, and I'm not going to tell you guys what to do or, and what not to do. I don't have that kind of authority over you. Only you have that authority over you. But we're trying to share the light. We're trying to share love. We're trying to share truth. We're trying to share unity. We're trying to see the beauty in all the different cultures and bring to light the uniqueness, the divine within, the Christ that resides within each and every person, and how you rise up and how things do change. And I talked about how from the now moment it can ripple all the way back to conception. Well, we are seeing that in some pretty large anomalies. Why some people can see it and other people cannot, I don't know. I am not God Almighty, but I'm sure that the plan is perfect and we are all on time and that nobody will be left behind. So that was the culture that I was brought up, and it terrified me, thinking that loved ones or that anyone would have to go through any kind of suffering or hellfire. My goodness, my heart could not handle that. So back to summing it all up. When we're thinking about Shills, I think of them as, working for some kind of an agency that comes in to bust up our community. When it comes to trolls, they are maybe just lost and confused individuals. And we should all, be uniting together even stronger when we see those kind of things go on. So with that, I hope you guys take that to heart and that it helps bring some awareness and opens our eyes to self-reflect on our own behaviors, because after all, that is all that we can control, is ourselves. So if you've made it this far and watched my presentation, I'm going to give you a little recap, because I know there's new people that come on all the time. My channel is about deprogramming from all of the programming we've endured through television, news, and things that are put to us through school and religion and all sorts of things that we have been raised up to believe. It's a form of brainwashing, hive mind, government. Even government is divide and conquer, when there's always two opposing sides that divide up people, giving us the illusion of freedom. What we talk about here is I share a lot of the experiences that I've been through, and a lot of people also share the experiences that they're going through, because we're all in this together. And a huge part of it is deprogramming, and it's hard. It's a lot of work when we cleave to things that no longer serve. It is hard to let go. It's almost like getting ripped down to your foundation, sturdying up your foundation and having it built back up on the truth. So as we're going through that process, we may face old wounds that we thought we were over, but no, they resurface back up. Some people call it karma clearing. Other people call it spiritual cleansing. There's many different terms, but we lose the labels because the labels are not important. Each of us has our own narrow path that we're walking out. Each of us has certain things that come into our life that we are to overcome. And I'm not talking preachy. I'm talking about, following those rabbit holes. And I look at a lot of these things going on, flat earth and globe earth, as a rabbit hole. What are you going to gain except for being able to pat yourself on the back and say, I'm right and you're wrong? When we're trying to lift ourselves up over another person, that means we're not showing the respect and the equality that we would like shown to us. We should always live by that universal law, which is treat others as you want to be treated. When you get to the point where you can see the divine in everyone, and again, I'm not talking religion, I'm talking equality, sovereignty, respect, where we can sit down and have a conversation and not be so dug down in our heels that our way is right, that we are actually able to bend like light bends. And that's what we are. We're frequency, we're energy, we're light. So we should be able to bend and be pliable. We should be like water, being able to flow into any container and fit comfortably. So that is a short little recap on what this channel is about. I do share a lot of my own personal experiences, not all of them, but a lot of them. And many of us are going through so much together. But as we're finding that united we stand, divided we fall. All these little sayings and slogans come from somewhere. So I hope you all enjoyed this episode of Michelle's Opinions on shills, trolls, and NPCs, and why we shouldn't let them get to us. If you feed them, then they will just continue on. But if you don't, they eventually will stop and go away. So I love you guys all so much. Please like, share, and subscribe. Share what you know so I can listen and grow, and so can everybody else. Peace. Have yourself a wonderful day. If you'd like to sponsor the channel for as little as a cup of coffee a month, you can go to patreon.com at this web address. I also have a PayPal account.